Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm going to show you how to build a completely automated Google Maps lead gen system in Make.com that is going to keep your sales funnels full. Let's get into it. All right, so in this video, we are going to be selling our automated lead gen services to local landscaping companies. Okay, so I live in Tennessee. So in this video for this demo, we are going to be scraping Google Maps for local Tennessean landscaping companies. We're going to be adding them to a list in Google Sheets. And then we're going to be finding email accounts associated with decision makers at those companies. Once we have the email accounts or the addresses of those decision makers, we're then going to write them a personalized icebreaker using Perplexity and ChatGPT. We're going to update our Google Sheet database for consistency. And then we're going to add all those leads along with their custom icebreakers to an Instantly campaign that will reach out to them automatically every single day. This is going to fill your sales funnels and boost your reply rates with this AI personalization. And so it's going to be an incredible system. Let me stop talking. Let's get into this thing. All right. So step one is we are going to come into Make. We're going to create a new scenario. And let's just give it a name here. Let's say Google Maps lead gen system. And we'll just say demo. Okay. All right. Now, first thing we're going to do is we're going to come into Apify. And we want to find some sort of bot that's going to scrape Google Maps for us. Okay, so I'm just going to search Google Maps. And really what we want here is we want any scraper that is going to give us essentially business name and then like business domain or business URL. We need that URL in order to find emails for these potential businesses later on in the flow, which I will show you. Okay, so let's try and find the cheapest one here. Okay, so Google Maps scraper, pay per event. Let's see. $4 for 1,000 places. Okay. This one's 6 for 1,000. This one's 9 for 1,000. Looks like we're going up here. Google Maps reviews. What does this give us here? Does this give us what we need? Reviewers. Okay, that's not going to give us the businesses. Okay, let's do this one. Let's just make sure we get what we need here. $4 for 1,000. Let's see. Oh, here we go. So it looks like we get category name, address, website. Perfect. Okay, that's what we need right there. So we get the business website, the business name, all this good stuff. Okay, so let's do this one. So $4 for every 1,000. It's not bad. We want to find preferably local landscaping companies, but I guess it doesn't have to be local, but in this example, we're going to. So we're going to do local landscaping companies. So landscaping companies, I'm going to do in Tennessee, which is where I live. And then it looks like we can set the number of places we want to extract. I'm going to leave it at 50 for now, just for the demo, but obviously you can crank this up big time. Okay, and then let's see. Let's just go through here and see what these other settings are. Okay, so scrape all places, scrape only. Okay, so we're going to do scrape only places with a website because we need the website. Okay, so let's set that. And then I don't think I need any of this. Contacts, I want to get the contact details, so I'm going to turn that on. Reviews, I don't really need. I guess you could get reviews and like, you know, if you want to make it super hyper personalized later on, you could like throw some reviews into ChatGPT to write an even more custom email, but we're not going to do that here. We're going to keep it simple for now in this demo. Images, I don't need. Okay, I think we're good. Okay, so I'm just going to search for landscaping companies in Tennessee, and let's return 50 of them, and they have to have a website. Okay, so I'm going to start this. Let's start running this bad boy. Okay, and that'll start cooking. So let's come back into Make now, and let's go to Apify. And we're going to watch actor runs. Okay, we're gonna set up a new webhook. I'm gonna say Google Maps Apify webhook. Sorry. Okay, and then my Apify connection is gonna be my demo one. And then actor, we're gonna look for our Google Maps scraper right here. So compass crawler, so this one right here. We're gonna hit save. Okay, and so that'll trigger every time this is done. This will trigger. So I'm just going to run this. Actually, this is still going. We still got a little bit of time. So, okay. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to drop in another Apify module, and this one's going to be get dataset items. And I want to return the dataset ID from our first module here. And if you've seen any of my old videos, essentially what this is going to do is actually extract all the data we need once this run is done. So this is going to bring in 50 results from us, 50 businesses, landscapers in Tennessee. And when that is done, it's going to trigger our workflow. But this module right here, watch actor runs, is not going to actually return the data. It's just going to return the data of the bot that was run, the start time, the finish time, all that stuff. It doesn't give us the actual business names, all the relevant data we need. So we need to drop in this get dataset items module and feed in the default dataset ID from our first module to basically unpack all the data inside of our bot run. Okay, so I'll show you all this in just a second. When this is done, it'll make sense in just a second, but we can see here that we're almost done. We need 3 more results, and then this is going to finish up and then trigger our workflow. So we'll give this a second. 49, we need one more, hang in there. And then we'll go and watch this entire thing trigger in Make, since we're running it right now. So we'll see this finish here live. So we're at 50, it's almost done. It's finishing up, succeeded. And now we'll give this a second and this will trigger. Perfect. And then we pulled our data set. So I'll show you now what I'm talking about here. So we triggered when that actor was done running. We can see we succeeded, but we don't have any business names. We don't have any of the data from Google Maps. Okay, we just see like our price, the start time, the finish time. It's just information about the actual actor that ran, the actual bot that ran. But what we do get is this default dataset ID field, this little key here, which is what we feed into this module here, which actually unpacks all the data we need. So we can see now in our second module that we have 50 different bundles, and each of these bundles represents a different business that we scraped off Google Maps. So for example, landscaping, Smith and construction, category name, we have a website, phone number, et cetera, et cetera. So we've now scraped 50 different businesses based off our custom Google Maps search. And now we can do a lot of really cool things with it. Okay, so we can add all this data into Google Sheets, so we can start building our leads database. And then we can start finding emails of people at these companies, because that's, if you notice, we don't have that right now, I don't believe. But we do have the domain, and that we can use to actually enrich these leads with emails. Okay, and then once we get their emails, then we can send them hyper-personalized AI, which we'll do later on in the video. Okay, so step number 1 is done. Let's move to step number 2 now and get all these leads into a Google Sheets document. Okay, so in Google Sheets here, I'm just gonna add a new sheet, and I kind of just have like a demo lead gen Google Sheet already set up. So I'm gonna call this one Google Maps Demo. All right, and then we just gotta do a little bit of work here to clean this up. So I'm going to literally just copy all these fields. And really, I just need maybe a few of these. I don't need many, I don't think. And I'm gonna come to chat, and I'm gonna say, give me a comma separated list of these headers that I can use for my Google Sheets column headers. And I'll paste that in, and it'll basically just print this out for me. I'll copy it, I'll come to Google Sheets, I'll paste it in, and then I will come to data and then split text to columns, and perfect. So now I have my headers. That looks good. I'm gonna add a few more here because I know I'm gonna need them. Icebreaker, email, and I'll move this to the end. Let's see, email, maybe name. Do we have name? Yeah, we're gonna need name. Maybe first name, last name, and then icebreaker. Okay. So that looks pretty good. So now what we want to do is we're going to come back to make. And just for now, I'm going to unhook this module, and I'm going to trigger with this second module. The reason I'm doing this is because now that I have my dataset ID for that kind of first demo mock run of 50, I'm going to copy that data set ID, and I'm just going to paste it in manually here so that now as we test, we don't have to run that bot every time and spend credits or spend pennies or whatever. So I'm just going to manually paste that in here. And now whenever I run this, we're going to just, pull in that data without having to run our bot in Apify. Okay, so I'm going to come to Google Sheets now, and I'm going to add a row. Okay, and we're going to add a row of all those businesses to my lead gen dashboard spreadsheet, Google Maps demo sheet. We're going to map these fields. Okay, so title, price, category name, address, website is the most important, and then phone, and then phone unformatted. Email, we don't have yet. First name, I don't think we have that yet, but let me double check. I don't see it. Oh, here's emails. Interesting. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to rely solely on our next step for email or first name or all that stuff. Okay. So let's just do that for now. And I'm going to run this, and now we can watch as that data set gets added here to my Google Sheet. Okay, so we're just going to add all these automatically to Google Sheets. Okay, so we've got 50 different leads here, so that's looking really good. All right, looks like price we don't really need to see, so I'm going to hide that. We have address, website, and we have a category name too, which we could use, I guess. But okay, cool. So that's looking really good. Now, what we want to do is we want to now find emails for each of these businesses. Okay, so we have website, we have name of the business, but who are we going to email? We're setting up a cold email campaign. We need an email address. And you can see here from our scraper, we don't have that. So that leads us to our next tool, and it's called Anymail Finder. Okay, and it looks like this. You're going to need credits in order to find emails from decision makers at these companies. Okay, and so what we can do here is, this is a really unbelievable tool. But if we come here to the left and choose decision maker, and then we paste in our domain for any company, and then set a category of the type of decision maker we want, then Anymail Finder will essentially go find us as many emails as it can of people at that domain in positions of power in whatever category you set. Okay, so for example, if I feed in, Facebook.com or Meta.com here and search for CEO and I hit search, we're going to get Mark Zuckerberg's email. Okay, and so it's really, really crazy. Now you're not going to get every email because sometimes the data is just not that good. But we're probably going to get 50%, maybe 60% of emails for these companies. And so you can imagine that at scale, as you kind of scale this out and not just pull in 50 folks here, you pull in 5,000, you're going to get a ton of emails here for a relatively cheap amount of money. So, or a relatively low amount of money. So anyways, this is what the Anymail Finder looks like from the dashboard. And you can go one email at a time, or we can hook up to the API and do it automatically, which is what we're going to do. So I'm going to come back to Make, and I'm going to drop in an Anymail Finder module, and we're going to do the Make an API call module. All right. And you want to connect. And then we're going to need to paste in a URL for our API call. And so I'm going to paste in our URL, which is /v5.0 /decisionmaker.json. Okay, and now this is just going to be the URL for our API call. You can just paste it in just like that. All right, method is going to be post. You can leave content type application here. All right, and then body, we're going to do a JSON request. Okay, and so we want to send in a few different things. So the first thing we want to send into Anymail Finder is obviously, like I showed you, the domain. Okay. And so we can dynamically pull that in here. So let me just move this over for you guys so you can see it. Give me a second here. Sorry, it's being weird. Okay, there we go. All right, so we're going to feed in our, let's see, website. So I'm going to say domain and then feed in our website. Okay. And then I also want to do, I believe it's decision_maker category. And that is, we're going to get from the API documentation. Okay. And so we're essentially just filling in here that we want to return CEOs or owners. All right. And so if you go through the Anymail Finder API documentation, you'll know that if you want a CEO or a founder email, you just need to type in CEO. Okay. If you want to look for marketing or IT, all that documentation is in their API material. So if you need that, just go search for it. All right, but we're going to do CEO. Okay, we're also going to feed in company name. And that we're also just going to feed in dynamically from Apify. So that's our title. Okay. And then something interesting. So in order to do this quickly, and I won't get into the jargon here, but or into the trenches, but in order to do this quickly, we could one by one search for each of these emails with the Anymail Finder module. Okay. The reason we're making an API call is because we can do this in batch. And when we do it in batch, it speeds up our workflow. Okay. But in order to do it in batch, we need to add a webhook URL that sends all of our results to another make.com automation. Okay, so we're going to have two different automations here, and this is going to be the end of the first one. Okay, so we're going to send all of these in there into Anymail Finder at the same time. It's going to speed it all up, but that will be the end of our automation because we do it in batch. We're going to have to send each result as a webhook fire to another automation. Okay, and so in order to do that, we're going to have to add something called an X webhook URL. So I'm going to come up here to add item, X webhook URL. All right. And the value is going to be the webhook, which is going to trigger our second automation. So if I come and I come back into make.com and I log in, I am going to create a second scenario. Okay. And I'm going to call it again, Google Maps lead gen system. This is going to be 2 of 2 demo. All right. And I'm going to add a webhook, a custom webhook, just like this. And I'm going to add and create a new one. So I'm going to say Google Maps lead gen system. I'm going to hit save. It's going to give me the webhook URL right here, which I'm going to copy. And I'm going to come back to my first scenario. And in this X webhook URL key, I'm going to enter the value of my new webhook. Okay, and again, what this is doing is essentially we are batch uploading to Anymail Finder to speed up our process. And we're going to send each result, each email that we find of a decision maker to our new webhook. All right, and when we send it to this new webhook, this scenario is going to fire, and this is going to basically finish our automation. Okay, so we're breaking this full automation instead of, in just one unit, we're breaking it into 2 to speed up the processing. Okay. So that's looking good. And then we want to send a few more fields through just because I know we're going to need them later on. Okay. So basically all of these fields here, we are going to send to this webhook so that we can use it and manipulate it later on. Okay. And so we also want to send through our row number. Okay. And when I say row number, I mean the row number of the row in our Google Sheets, okay? And the reason we're sending this through is because later on when we add our icebreaker field in our email, we need to know which row to update in our Google Sheets doc, okay? And since we're splitting these two scenarios into 2, we can't carry through our Google Sheets row number from here, okay? It won't be available. So this row number right here for each bundle, we won't have. And so we want to send that through dynamically here in our request body. Okay, so I'm just going to add a row number here. All right. And then last one I want is, we have company name. I think that's all we need. Domain, decision maker, company name, row number. I think that's it. We might need name, but let's go with this for now and see what happens. Okay, so I'm going to save this. And then let's just test this out and see what happens. So I'm going to make sure this is saved. I'm going to start running this. And I'm going to run my scenario again and just see what happens here. Okay. All right. So we got an error, and let's see what we get. What we get. Let's see. URL looks good. Maybe this needs to be lowercase. Webhook looks good. And then let me just add some spaces here. That could be my issue. Spaces here, and then, oh yeah, this comma, that's got to be gone. Okay, that should work now. Okay, I'm gonna hit save, run this again. There we go. Okay, there we go. And let's see. Okay, our webhook fired. All right, so we're getting full name. So we can see we get the email, we get an email verified, we get a person full name, we get a person job title, and we're also sending through our row number, company name, and decision maker category and domain. Okay, so that's looking good. So we're getting everything out of here that we need. All right. And so now that we're, scraping our leads here, adding them to a database, and then finding their email along with their name, and we're passing them through to our second automation. Well, now we can actually build the AI personalization piece of this entire workflow, which is where things get pretty fun. So, all right, if you guys are watching this video and you want to try this system out for yourself, but maybe it looks a little too technical, you don't really want to build it yourself, don't worry about it. I'm going to have the blueprints for both of these automations included for free in my free school community called Automation U. I will have this linked down below in the description. So if you want these blueprints, you want to try this out for yourself and just copy these into your own make.com account, just go sign up for my free school community and they'll be waiting there for you. All right, let's get back to the video. So what we're going to do now is we're going to add a perplexity module. Okay. And we're going to create a chat completion. You want to connect to your perplexity account. All right. And then what we're going to do is we're going to use model sonar. And then the message is we're literally just going to feed in our name, full name, and then job title, and then company name. Okay. Role is going to be just user, and that should be good. I'm going to hit save. Okay. Now, if you've never used Perplexity, essentially what we're doing here is we are using essentially a Google or an AI Google. Okay. So if, for example, you type your name and company and title into Perplexity, it's going to give you a fully custom readout on anything you can find on you online. Okay. And it's pretty personalized. So you can see here, it has me, it has the founder of Automation. It's based in Nashville, background in finance, passion for automation. It knows about my, career history. It has personal stuff about me, knows about my YouTube channel, knows about Memberify, Webflow, all this stuff. And then all these links. And so basically what we're doing is we are going to dynamically send in every lead's name, job title, and company into Perplexity with this module right here. And Perplexity is going to do a custom AI search on that person. It's going to pull a bunch of details. And then what we can do is we can write that lead a custom icebreaker based off that custom information that we're pulling. Okay. So all of our leads are going to get super personalized custom email openings to boost reply rates. And they're going to think that we wrote these emails one by one for them. But really it's just the system running these automatically for us every single day at scale. Okay. So it's kind of insane. So now that we're pulling that stuff out of Perplexity, well, what we want to do now is we want to actually write our custom icebreaker. Okay, so we're going to do that in ChatGPT or OpenAI. All right, and we're going to use O4 Mini, it's the cheapest one. It's more than good enough. All right, and then max completion tokens. We don't want this to be super long, so just maybe 300. Okay, and then we're going to do a system message. It's going to say you are a helpful, intelligent icebreaker assistant. Okay. And then as the user, I'm going to say, I am going to feed you, let's see, I'm going to feed you information from Google about a lead that I am going to write a custom email to. I need you to write me a custom icebreaker based off that Google search information. Okay. And then I'm going to say rules, find plausible connections where possible. I'm going to do 1 and then 2. Tone should be very casual and Spartan. 3, don't be overly excited. No exclamation points. Okay, we just wanted this to be super casual. Okay, we don't want to freak them out with something like way too flowery or too nice. And then importantly, we want to do respond in JSON format only. And then I'm going to give it an example. It's just going to be icebreaker. Just like that, okay? All right, so that looks good. And then, let's see. I want to do advanced settings. My response format is going to be JSON object, parse JSON response, and then tokens 300, like we said. Temperature is going to be around 0.6. I don't want it to be super creative. I want it to kind of stick to a formula. Okay. All right, that looks good. And then I just want to give it some examples so it kind of knows what I'm looking for. All right, and so to do that, I'm just going to add a new user message, and I'm going to go grab my actual context here that we pulled from Perplexity. And it's basically, I'm just going to put it here like this, just so it has a set format. And I'm just going to literally paste that in like that. And then add this, okay? All right, so that's what it's going to look like. So Alex Leisho is a founder of Automation, an AI automation agency based in Nashville, okay? So if it gets something like that, well, I want it to output something like this. So we'll do, hey Alex, comma, and we'll do \n just for 2 new lines, okay? We want this to be formatted nicely. And then I'll say something like, love how you made the jump from finance to automation. Big fan of what you're doing at Automatio. Okay. And that's our icebreaker. That's all it is. Okay. Nothing crazy. But that is personalized enough that if I got an email like this and it said, hey, Alex, and somebody knew I left my finance job to come start my own company, I'm probably gonna reply to that. Okay. So that'll probably be good, and we'll see how it does. If we need to come tweak that, we will. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to, as a user, I'm just going to feed in my my actual context here. Okay. And that is just going to be right here out of Perplexity. Okay. So I'm just going to feed that in dynamically each time. Okay. So again, we have system message, then a user message, kind of giving us the base instructions here. I need you to write me a custom icebreaker based off that Google search information. Respond in this format only. And then we train it. So with a user prompt, we train it. We give it context of this, which is actual example. And then given this, I want you to return an icebreaker that looks something like this. So now it kind of knows what we're looking for. Okay, again, in JSON format. All right. And then we actually feed it in what we actually want it to do. Okay. Each time. Okay. And again, response format, JSON, parse 300. And that should be good. Okay. And so now that that is done, what we want to do is we want to add our icebreaker into our Google Sheet here. Okay. So we want to populate all this information here, which we haven't done yet. All right. And so to do that, we're just going to come here. We're going to add a Google Sheets module. We're going to update a row. And again, this is why we had to pass through that row number through our webhook, because now we need to tell it what row to update with all of our information. Lead gen dashboard. Sheet name is Google Maps demo. Row number is coming straight from our webhook. Okay. And then we're going to update the following fields. So we want to update email with our email field, which we don't have right now. So what we can do is we can copy this And we can just come here and then change this to email. All right, and then we'll just paste that right in. Okay, just a little hack there for you in case you can't pull something in. First name, we're gonna do the same thing because, and actually we don't have first name, we actually just have, I think, name, if I remember correctly. Okay, so I'm gonna do name, and I think that's what it's called. If it's not, we'll come back and change it. And then last name we don't have, and then icebreaker is gonna be our result. Sorry, choices, message, content actually, sorry. Okay. And that should be good. All right, so we'll hit save. And then I just want to test this now and see if this is actually working or not, okay? So let's run this. We're gonna use existing data and we need to find one that actually, okay, so we don't actually have a decision maker for this one. And so that's not actually great. I don't want to search for it if we don't have a decision maker. So I'm gonna add a little filter here, I think. Is decision maker found? And I'm gonna basically be like, hey, if error equals, what is that? No underscore result. Or I'm just gonna go if error does not exist, I think. That should work. If error does not exist, or I'm gonna go if error is not equal to no result, then we let it through. Okay, so let's try that. So use existing data. Okay, didn't find one. Okay, didn't find one again. Looks like we're not finding a lot of these. Okay, there's one. Okay, so we found an email here. Perfect. Atom sync. We have an email. It's verified. So we look them up. We write an icebreaker, and then we should update our Google Sheet. So if we come here, and let's see, did we update anything? Did we update anything? Is this working or not? Okay, doesn't look like it's working. So let's see what's going on. So do we look them up in Perplexity? Yes. Okay, we got them. And then do we write what we needed here in chat? And let's see. Maybe not. Maybe something going on here. Okay, we fed that in. Are we getting what we need here? Let's see. This is a live build, guys. This is a live build. So let me just update this. Maybe I mess this up. Email. Oh, it's under result. That's why. So email, full name, and then icebreaker should be... where's my icebreaker at? That's the issue. All right, I'm not getting an icebreaker for some reason. Okay, so that should fix it. So let's run this again and see if we can get an output from chat now. All right, so we'll keep running this until we find an email. And again, we're getting less emails here than I thought, but there's another one. Okay, so let's see. We're searching for Perplexity. We're writing our icebreaker, and then we're updating Google Sheets. So let's see if we actually get an output now from, okay, there we go. So there's an output, and then let's see if we can actually grab this here to populate. Perfect. Okay, there we go. There we go. Now we're working. Now we're cooking. All right, I just want to take a quick little breather to drop in and let you guys know that if you are struggling to fill your own sales funnels and you want to start building some of these AI lead gen systems for your own company, but you're struggling, you don't really know where to start or they look too hard to do, don't worry about it. Get in touch with us down below at www.automatio.io. We are building systems like this for clients like you every single day, and we'd love to work with you to scale your company. Anyways, let's get back to the video. Now that we're getting our icebreaker out of chat and we're adding it to our database here, okay, now we can start to add these to our instantly lead campaigns. Okay, so if you've never used Instantly before, basically what it is a cold email software that lets you basically sign up for a bunch of different email accounts for like $5 a month, and it lets you basically send emails at scale without getting flagged by the email providers for spam. Okay, so instead of sending 500 emails from one email account and flagging and tripping all these anti-spam flags, then we send 30 different emails from 8 different accounts every day to get around that. Okay, but what's great about Instantly is that you can set up these campaigns automatically via make.com. Okay, and you can add leads to campaigns automatically with name, company, and as well as a personalization field, okay, which is the most powerful thing, because then when you set up an email sequence, you can pull in dynamically for each lead their custom icebreaker or personalization, then with your pitch, okay? So it's pretty great, and that's what we're gonna do right now, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna add a new campaign, and this is gonna be a Google Maps demo, okay? And, you know, I don't know what we're going to be selling to these landscaping companies. Let's just say we're selling a, you know, maybe we're selling our own lead gen service to these landscapers. We go, hey, you know, we're a lead gen specialty company, and we're working with other local landscapers in your market, and we know we can generate 10 leads a month for you or something like that with our cold email AI system. So maybe we do that just for demonstration purposes here. All right. So first thing we want to do is I just want to add some leads to this campaign. Okay. And so now that I have it created, I'm going to come here into Make, and I am going to, let me move this for you guys. I'm going to Instantly, I'm going to add a lead to a campaign. Okay. And then make sure you're connected. Campaign ID is going to be our Google Maps demo. The lead email is coming straight from our webhook here. And then we don't have first name and last name actually, which is a little sad. So, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to add one more AI module here, and it'll just do it for us automatically. So I'm going to say, yeah, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say, split this name for me. System, you are a helpful name splitter. And then my user message will be something like, I am going to give you a full name. I want you to split it into first and last name. Rules output should be in JSON format only. And then I'll say first name and then last name. Okay, so that should be good right there. Perfect. And then I could give it an example. I guess I will, just for consistency here. So I'm going to say user Alex Laisho, or I'll say name Alex Laisho, and then the assistant should be in JSON should be first name Alex, sorry, and then last name Laisho. Okay, and then one last message here for the actual field, which is coming straight from our webhook. Okay, so let me make sure you guys can see this. So we're going to feed in our person full name. Okay, that looks good. And then we're going to come to advanced. Response format should be JSON object. We're going to parse the response. And that should be good. And so now I should be able to run this module, fill in my full name, and then, okay, we should have an output now, or result, first name, last name. Okay, perfect. All right, so now in my Google Sheets, I can come to first name, and I can just feed in my first name, and now we have a good healthy split. So we have email, first name, last name, And then we need to also fill in our icebreaker. I don't know where this went because right now it's not. So I'll just feed that in. And then, okay, so that looks good. So we have email, first name, last name, and icebreaker. Now we are ready to actually add our Instantly module, as I mentioned before. Okay, so we'll come to Instantly. We're going to add a lead to a campaign. All right, and now that we have first name, we're in really good shape. Okay, we're going to come to campaign ID, Google Maps demo. The lead email, we're pulling straight in from our webhook. All right. First name we have now, which is perfect. And I guess we can just pull it in here. Last name, company name, we're pulling in through our webhook. Personalization is just going to be our icebreaker. All right. And then website, we don't even need that. Okay. We don't even need that. All right, so that looks good. And so now we're gonna add that lead to our campaign. All right, so I'm gonna hit save here. And we're looking pretty good now. We're looking pretty good. Now, the last thing we need to do is we need to come in here and actually write our email copy. All right, so I have a template here. All right, so I'm just gonna paste this in and then we'll tweak this for our example. Remember, we are targeting local landscaping companies to sell them lead gen services, okay? So we're gonna hit them with our personalization, I think we called it. And then wanted to run something by you. I'm new to this, but I put something interesting together a few months ago that works well. To make a long story short, it's an outreach system that uses AI to find people hiring landscapers. And then pitches them about 15 meetings per month on average, costs just a few cents to run. I ran it for myself back when I ran a, let's say, construction business. So admittedly a slightly different world than yours. And I got to the point where we were making about $10,000 per month. I know this is completely out of left field, but I'm fairly confident we could do something similar for you. Just wanted to see if there was interest. You're one of the first people I found when looking into it. Would this be of value to you at all? Wouldn't cost you anything. I'd pay for it up front. If you're open, we could work out some sort of deal, but up to you. Let me know your thoughts when you have a sec. Thanks, Alex. Okay, so a lot of things we're doing here is firstly, we're opening with our personalization, okay, which is very important. Secondly, we are acting kind of dumb, okay? We're hey, sorry, I'm kind of new to this. Low pressure, low stakes. People respond to that, okay? Then we kind of show kind of what value we're going to provide them. Hey, we have an outreach system that can book you maybe 15 meetings a month, which is great. And then we kind of say, we kind of show a little bit of proof of concept. Hey, we did this, although again, play a little coy here. It wasn't in landscaping, it was a construction business, which is kind of similar. Kind of again gives you that deniability that helps kind of convert these cold email campaigns. And we're making $10,000 a month. So proof of concept. I'm confident we could do something similar for you. And then you kind of close here. No cost, low stakes, no friction, minimize it as much as you can. Let me know what your thoughts when you have a second. Okay. So kind of basic, kind of simple. And then we can add a follow-up here as well if we wanted to. My email subject is just going to be first name Q. All right, now I'll make sure all these are pulling in here in a second. We actually don't have any leads added yet, so we'll just double check. And then we'll say, hey, first name again. Hey, first name. Wanted to make sure you read my last email, the TLDR. I run Automatio, an AI automation agency working specifically with landscapers. 2, think we could add 15 meetings a month for you for very little cost. Let me know if you'd like to hop on a call. Thank you, Alex. Okay, so that looks good. And then, okay, I'll save that. Perfect. And then we are in a pretty good shape now to actually test this entire system out. Okay, so I'm gonna make sure all my automations are saved and on. All right, and then let's save this and then turn this, oops. Let me just back out here. I'm just gonna turn it on. Okay, so that one's on, this one's on. There are 8 records that need to be processed. That's just our old ones. So that's okay. Okay, so both of those are on, and turn this on. I'm gonna process the old data just to get that going. All right, and then last thing I wanna do is, and I almost forgot this, is I wanna just come back here and rehook this up to pull in dynamically instead of just, manually pasting this in. So let's make sure this is set up here. Default data set ID, okay. I'm gonna hit save. And now we are ready. This is on to actually run this for real, okay? So we're gonna come back here and we're gonna do landscaping companies again, 100 places to extract. Again, we wanna make sure that they have a website, okay? And so that should be good to go. We're gonna do Tennessee. All right, so I'm gonna run this. And then I just wanna make sure that my Google Sheet is all cleaned up. Okay, so we're starting from scratch here. We have no leads in instantly. Okay, so we are starting from scratch. The systems are turned on. All right, and so we should be all ready to rock here. We're gonna let this bad boy run for the next 2 minutes or so. And then we will watch our system kind of, add to Google Sheets and then add to instantly all of our leads so that this all happens automatically. So again, this is the only thing you need to do manually every day or every week to add new leads to your spreadsheet and to your campaign. That's it. You just come right here to Apify, you type in your Google Maps search request and it just runs automatically for you. Okay, so it's pretty impressive. It's pretty impressive. So let's let this thing cook and then we'll check back in here in just a few minutes. All right, so we should be wrapping up here in just a second. We need one more result. And then we should watch this work. Okay, so we finished scraping. Give this succeeded, perfect. And so now our workflow should be triggered and we can see that it is. It's adding to our Google Sheet live very quickly. All right, so that's looking good. Perfect. And then it's gonna start searching for emails, writing AI personalization, and then uploading these leads into our instantly campaigns, okay? And so we can see, look at all these leads we have. Look at this, this is great. This is awesome, okay? And again, we can do this every single day. It costs pennies to do this. I think, what was it, $4 for 1,000 results? You pay a little bit for ChatGPT, you pay for each email that you get. It does add up, but you get some great stuff. So now if we go to our second scenario, we can see we're starting to go through, each of these scenarios gets their own run. And that's why we're doing that webhook there in the middle, because now we can run these each concurrently instead of waiting each time through. And so we just get faster results into instantly. Okay. So if I refresh instantly now, we can see our leads are starting to come in. And they all have personalization. Looks like this one doesn't for some reason. And so, yeah, but we can come in here and we can also see all this in Google Sheets. Okay. And you can see we're probably getting emails for maybe half of the people, right? And we're writing personalization for half of them as well. Okay. So this is looking good. And it looks like we have a couple formatting issues here. So we might go back into chat and say, hey, make sure it's capitalized and it's, proper formatting. But this is looking pretty good. Hey, Bruce, saw you went from helping your uncle with lawns to running wadescapes for over 20 years. That labyrinth projected at FP Core is a neat blend of design and community service. That's pretty great. Hey, Jose, notice Fall River Landscapes handles jobs all over Lebanon. Juggling schedules and quotes must be handful. Ever toy with lightweight tools to streamline client bookings. Cool. And so you can see now that if I come to my sequences here and we preview, we get this very nice curated email. So, hey, Michael, saw how SCW Group treats every property like a golf course and keeps clients stress-free. Curious if automating your scheduling and maintenance updates might free up more time for your designs. Wanted to run something by you. So very nice intro there. Very nice icebreaker. He's probably going to reply to this. And if he doesn't, at worst, it's going to boost your reply rates across all your other leads. Okay. And the last thing you want to do here is you want to just kind of schedule this, set this to run Monday through maybe Saturday, 9 to 6. and then you just hit resume campaign. Link up your email accounts that you want to send from, and boom, this system is going to run for you completely automatically every single day, as long as you go in Apify and just, add your new search. So that's it, guys. So if you guys like this video, go down and smash that like button for me. I'd really appreciate it. If you want to see more videos like this in the future, consider subscribing. That would be awesome. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, get down there and let me know, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you guys so much for being here, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.